2021 was a pretty big year for movies. We got a fair share of blockbusters and indies, movie theaters opened back up, and HBO Max put out a bunch of their releases. That was pretty cool, right? And for a while, I've been wanting to make a video about the movies that I saw in 2021. I know it might seem late, it's like the end of February now, but the Oscars haven't happened yet, so I think I'm in the clear. Anyway, after weeks of brainstorming, I came up with this video, Fake Movie Sequels. That's right. I will be pitching sequels to a bunch of 2021 movies, even if they don't necessarily deserve or need sequels. At the end of the day, it all boils down to making money. 2 quick disclaimers before we begin. Number 1, I'm only going to be doing the movies I saw in 2021. So, sorry, I won't be pitching Snake Eyes 2, or Pig 2, or House of Gucci 2, House of Tucci. None of those. And number 2, I will be spoiling every single one of these movies. So go ahead and skip segments at your own convenience. So with all that being said, sit back, grab some, root beer or something, and enjoy the rest of the video. Oh, and also, studios, if you're seeing this, call me up. I can give you some more details if you want. I'm putting that out there. Yeah.
And yeah.
I did not care much for Raya as a movie, but as a world, I think it has so much potential. So I'm pitching a straight-to-Disney Plus sequel called Raya and the Island of Secrets. In this movie, we will explore the tumultuous past of Kumandra. Raya and her band of whatever these people are will find themselves on an ancient island which has ties to Kumandra's past. We'll meet some fantastic new characters and creatures, and there'll be these awesome fight sequences, and you know what, let's bring back James Newton Howard for the score, because the first score slaps.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 4 greatest heroes.
Okay, so I actually do remember reading about Zack Snyder's proposed Justice League sequel. The gist of it, from what I remember, is that the Riddler solves the anti-life equation and shoots himself, Superman turns evil, for real this time, Darkseid murders Lois Lane, and half of the Justice League dies. I don't want to watch this movie. I think Justice League Part 2 should simply be the Justice League versus the Legion of Doom. Oh, and also, since Aquaman seems to like going on solo adventures so much, our heroes basically just need to relearn how to work together. Or something like that. Honestly, I don't care what you really do. Bring in Shazam, Black Canary, maybe even Hawkman. Throw as many heroes as you want in this movie, just have it be good.
Run! It's Godzilla! It looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright laws, it's not.
So we all remember when Mothra died in Godzilla King of the Monsters, right? Well, I think she's bound to come back, and maybe she's evil. We did it for Superman, why should Mothra be left out? Godzilla vs. Mothra will be the conclusion for the new Godzilla trilogy, while also being a follow-up to Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't really care what happens in this movie, plot-wise, and let's be honest, I don't think any of these movies do. However, I want 2 significant things. 1, Millie Bobby Brown's character must actually be in the final monster fight. How? Well, the answer's easy. She's basically gonna be on top of Godzilla's head the whole time. Yeah. And 2, the bad guy of this film will be a mysterious character draped in the shadows. And you're always wondering, who is this guy? And then he's finally revealed, and it's Dr. Jekyll from 2017's The Mummy. That's right! That means that the Monsterverse is actually connected to the Universal's Dark Universe. It'll be the most insane crossover in the history of cinema, and $1 bajillion are gonna be made. It's great. Quite recently, they actually officially announced a Mortal Kombat sequel, and I have some ideas. Mortal Kombat Round 2. This movie will involve Raiden's gang rounding up new champions for the next tournament, including Johnny Cage and the other characters. I don't know any other Mortal Kombat characters. Meanwhile, Shang Tsung, the bad guy from the first movie, is forming a new legion of bad guys since all of his minions were brutally murdered. We also learn he has a motivation, which he didn't have in the first movie. Turns out, Shang Tsung is actually working for this big evil bad guy named Shao Kahn. And in these movies, he basically wants every single realm to bow down to him and treat him like a god. He hired Shang Tsung to do his work for him because he's a lazy bum, but don't worry, In the second half of the movie, our characters all fight in the tournament, there's blood and guts, and it's R-rated beauty, and Shang Tsung is killed by Raiden. Shao Kahn is basically angered and says, fine, I'll do it myself. Which basically lays the groundwork for Mortal Kombat 3. Come on, Warner Brothers, I'm practically printing money for you. Let's just steal this idea, I don't care.
There is no halting the robot uprising.
Okay, first of all, I loved the Mitchells versus the Machines. It had heart, it was funny, the animation style was so unique and so colorful, but it does not need a sequel. But if Netflix wanted it, I think the Mitchells versus the Mechas would be rather neat. After the chaos of the first movie, PAL's data is backed up onto a cloud, forming some sort of corrupt virus. That virus then infects other servers, travels across power lines, all in pursuit of the Mitchells, who it wants to seek revenge on. The PAL virus then decides to create an army of Japanese-style Gundams and unleashes them on the world. So of course, it's up to the Mitchells, once again, to defeat the Mechas and save the world. A lot of anime references. It has potential to be worse, or just maybe 1,000 times better than the first one.
What's an anime? We have much to discuss.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
Okay, I'm kinda cheating here because technically this isn't a sequel, but rather a spin-off, but don't tell me you wouldn't absolutely watch a movie called Massimo and Alberto. If you didn't know,
Last November,
we got a short on Disney Plus, and I loved it. Plus, we all know Disney has this whole thing about spin-offs, and come on, this just makes sense. I just want to see a movie with these two guys doing things together, you know, like going fishing, or going on some cool adventures, or chugging pasta, like a father-son bonding movie. Come on, I would totally watch this instead of whatever Lightyear is. Like, come on, Pixar, get it together. This is what the people want.
Black Widow's gone now, but she leaves behind the gift of knowledge. The knowledge that you cannot defeat Demogorg, the God Eater, with a karate kick.
The sequel to 2021's Black Widow will be called Black Widow: The Winter Guard. First of all, this movie will center around Yelena Belova, who is still on a quest to free the other Black Widows. She's nearing the end of her mission when she encounters the new generic Marvel villain, the Radioactive Man. So Yelena calls up Alexei and Milena, but they decide they need some more help to combat the Radioactive Man. Together, they reassemble the Winter Guard. And for those unfamiliar, the Winter Guard were basically the Soviet Union's Avengers. They were hinted at in Black Widow, and now they had their live-action debut here. Black Widow, Iron Maiden, Red Guardian, Ursa Major, Crimson Dynamo, and Darkstar. A brand new team of heroes, and it's gonna be awesome. And hopefully better than Black Widow.
God damn, it's a pretty fucking good milkshake.
Gunpowder Milkshake 2, The Last Straw. I barely remember the first Gunpowder Milkshake, I just wanted to make a pun, and that is about it. Though, I have some ideas. So Karen Gillan plays a character who shoots up bad guys in this movie, right? And she's gonna do it again in the sequel. Kate was another movie that had Mary Elizabeth Winstead playing a woman that shot up bad guys. Why not have the two cross over? But wait, there's more. Birds of Prey, woman killing bad guys. Ghostbusters, woman busting ghosts. The 355, woman being spies. And hey, Totally Spies is coming back too. Let's put them in this movie. You guys want Kill Bill 3 with Maya Hawke? Why didn't you say so? Put her in this movie. All these women just cross over into one single movie. And you know what? Let's just make this the Girl Boss cinematic universe and call it a day. Cinema has been saved. We can all go home now. I stand corrected. Cinema has not been saved and will only be saved when Space Jam: The Final Game comes out. The Space Jam movies have a streak of playing with their animated villains. In the first one, they were 2D hand-drawn aliens. The second one had 3D CGI X-Men rejects. The third one, well, it only makes sense. You just gotta keep moving forward. 2 words, 4D. We're bringing back Smell-O-Vision, guys. Here we go!
What does that smell?
So in Space Jam: The Final Game, the Looney Tunes will team up with NBA superstar, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, yeah, and fight Mother Nature herself. Now, Mother Nature's minions will each have their own distinct smell, which you can experience in the cinema by way of smell-o-vision. 4D movies are the future, guys, and Space Jam 3 will absolutely prove that.
Which hand of the witch hand will it be?
Fear Street, Part 4, 2008. This movie will pick up 14 years after the original Fear Street. Dina and Samantha are happily married in a little Shadyside suburb. Sunnyside has become disgraced when, suddenly, the curse of Sarah Fear returns. Well, actually, no, it's not Sarah. Spoilers, it's not Sarah Fear, it's actually the Goods. And this time, the Goods have returned. With their second cousin, Hannah Good. And Hannah Good, she is hell-bent on avenging her family's downfall and wants revenge on Shadyside. So she's gonna tap into the darkness of the book and bring back all the killers. Look, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really think Fear Street needs a fourth movie, but this whole pitch is just an excuse to have a bunch of edgy 2008 music play in the entire movie. It's Jennifer's body. It's basically Jennifer's body.
So that's it? What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
Fun fact, I actually do have a half-baked concept for a Suicide Squad movie that's just been in my head for the longest time. And by half-baked, I mean I just have the list of characters. Yeah. Anyway, the Suicide Squad returns. This movie involves an all-new squad with all-new characters. I'm talking Black Spider, Chemo, Azucar, Clarion, Crowbar, Firefly, Mad Dog, Man-Bat, The Wall, maybe Zebra Man, or Egghead, or King Tut. And you know what? Bring back some old characters too. Harley Quinn, King Shark, Ratcatcher, and Killer Croc. I'm only bringing back Killer Croc because I want to kill him off in this movie. I'm sorry, Killer Croc is just the worst character in the DCEU, and I stand by that.
B.E.T.
Now, what I thought about a lot was, how do you top the villain of the last Suicide Squad, Starro? It is ridiculous, it is so fun. You know, what's better than Starro? And the answer? Music Meister. The character first introduced in Batman the Brave and the Bold should come back into this movie. He's still gonna be played by Neil Patrick Harris. He's gonna have like musical numbers. It's gonna be great. Come on, Warner Brothers, just call me up. I wanna make this movie. Please. Please, 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 please. Wreck-It Ralph was a video game movie that had an internet sequel. So it only seems right that Free Guy, another video game movie, should have an internet sequel. Yeah, there's no way this can go wrong. Free Guy 2. This movie will involve Guy and Buddy whisked on a brand new adventure when their game becomes corrupted and they are thrown into the World Wide Web. They venture around and become pretty popular. People recognize Blue Shirt Guy from, the first movie. Keys and Molotov Girl will realize what has happened, and they're gonna try and track him down and save the day. Now let's bring back Taika Waititi, who is, fresh out of prison. And if you thought the fan service in the first Free Guy was bad, wait till you see this one. We're gonna have a whole entire crossover with Deadpool for like 5 straight minutes, and it's gonna be the worst thing ever.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
I know little to nothing about Shang-Chi in the comics, let alone what they plan to do with him in the MCU. However, the one character I do want to show up is Fin Fang Foom. For those unfamiliar, Fin Fang Foom is an alien dragon from the comics who depicts a traditional Chinese dragon. Now, to me, Fin Fang Foom sounds dumb, and I really doubt the MCU is gonna keep that name, so instead, we're gonna call him Maklu, because that is his species name in the comics. Shang-Chi and the Trials of Maklu will explore the origins of the 10 rings. Shang-Chi is learning to tame the power of the rings, but also not become obsessed with them, like his father did. And then Maklu arrives, and he's looking for the rings. He's been searching across the universe for them, and he doesn't see Shang-Chi as capable, so he puts him to a test, and sends a bunch of evil space villains after Shang-Chi. So in order to defeat these new space foes, he'll have to fight alongside Katie and Xia Ling, who is still leading the 10 rings. John will be back, he'll have more screen time, and the story, it's gonna be really emotional. Guys, it's family. It's all about family.
2 bros chilling in the hot tub, 5 feet apart cause they're not gay.
Speaking as someone who does not like the Amazing Spider-Man movies nor the Venom movies, I think combining the two is the greatest idea ever. Venom intoxication will pick up immediately after the Spider-Man No Way Home post-credit scene when Eddie Brock and Venom have returned to the Sonyverse. Venom becomes obsessed with finding this Spider-Man person since he sounds familiar, hinting at the multiverse hive mind. Eddie thinks that there must be a version of Spider-Man existing somewhere in their universe, so, using the hive mind, Eddie and Venom go on this fun road trip journey to find their universe's Spider-Man. Meanwhile, Toxin is the brand new symbiote villain working with Patrick Mulligan. The two are basically working together, trying to hunt after Eddie and Venom, because Toxin wants to kill Venom, and instead of calling him father, he calls him grandfather. Oh, this is already a really bad movie. Toxin is not a very entertaining villain. I'm just gonna say that right now. He's not fun. He's very boring. So at the very end, there's a big fight between Toxin and Venom. Toxin dies, and then our heroes find Spider-Man, and it's Andrew Garfield, and then cut to black. People just scream their heads off in the theater. There's like videos of it surfacing on the internet. It's going viral. You know, maybe this is the comeback Sony needs after the failure that is Morbius. God.
Doc said Michael Myers.
This is Mike Myers.
It should be the Halloween mask.
This is a Halloween mask.
Halloween Ends is actually the final Halloween movie slated for October of this year. There are actually some details we know about this movie, and one of them that stood out to me is that it is going to tackle the pandemic. That's totally going to be in good taste, right? Okay, so first of all, I think all our characters, obviously, should be wearing masks, like, the whole time. There will be a bunch of anti-masking protests in Haddonfield, and Michael Myers will murder them. It's gonna be a joke, but it's gonna age very poorly, and it will continue to age poorly as time goes by. You know what? Let's just say Michael Myers gets COVID, because he's technically unvaccinated, and guess what? He doesn't die. And it's like scary, because not even the virus can kill him. It doesn't kill him because, I don't know, he's a weird dude. So Laurie Strode will finally have her long-awaited standoff against Michael Myers, almost 50 years, 45 years in the making. Crazy. And they fight, and she finally kills him, and she dies too, because it's like a symbolic thing. Yeah. So there's like $10 million made and a 22% score on Rotten Tomatoes. We can finally stop making Halloween movies. I hope I'm actually right about some of those things. Because that sounds terrible.
And the Sand Guardian, Guardian of the Sand. Poseidon quivers before him!
Okay, this one's gonna be pretty quick. I haven't actually finished the rest of Dune. I'll read it eventually, but I do know some things. And from that, I know that Dune Part 2 is gonna be just awesome. Timothée Chalamet is gonna be riding a giant sandworm. Zendaya will have more screen time, more time for the fat Baron dude, and Fade Routha will be there. And you know what? Let's cast Robert Pattinson. Let's put Robert Pattinson and stuff again. Let's make him Fade Routha. I think that's a great idea. Everyone wins. Okay, moving on.
Last night and night before.
Hi, Edgar Wright. I know you have a script for Baby Driver 2, and I know it's probably not gonna happen, and you know, I'm bummed, and I feel like a lot of us are. But if you're gonna make a sequel for any of your movies, Next Day in Soho would be pretty cool. It's still following the story of Eloise. She's still a fashion student. She's still a bit spiteful of Jocasta. She's moved in with John, because, you know, Miss Collins, like, burned to death. But she's still haunted by visions of Sandy, because, let's be honest, the events of Last Night in Soho were pretty traumatic. So she's grappling with that throughout the whole movie. Maybe she has some new visions. Maybe Sandy joins her this time. I don't know. You can make it work. I believe in you. If I'm being honest, I don't think Eternals was the worst Marvel movie, but it was pretty far from the best. However, I think the one thing that actually got people kind of excited were the post-credit scenes, specifically the arrival of Thanos' non-purple brother, Eros. The question remains, though, what's his deal? Well, we can explore that in the sequel. Eros and the Eternals. This movie will follow the three Eternals from the last movie, Thena, Makari, and Druig, as they embark on a journey led by Eros. We'll explore his backstory, how he got the moniker of Star Fox, and maybe we'll run into some other Eternals and or Celestials. Who knows? It could be cool. Just maybe keep it under 2.5 hours. I really really don't want any more Ghostbusters movies. The first one was good enough, just leave it at that. There's a reason we didn't make a Goonies 2. But if I had to make a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, let's bring back Vigo the Carpathian. Ghostbusters Next Life. That's the title. It will acknowledge the events of Ghostbusters 2 and bring back Vigo as the main villain. He basically does the same things as last time, summon a giant pink sludge, makes people angry. This movie will also see the return of Louis Tully and Oscar. Oscar was the baby from Ghostbusters 2. No one remembers Oscar. The kids will be back, and they'll be joined by Winston Zeddemore, because Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray really don't want to make these movies anymore. Bill Murray is tired, and Dan Aykroyd just wants to sell his Crystal Skull vodka. Oh, of course, the best part of the movie. At the end, a tear in the space-time continuum appears, and the 2016 Ghostbusters arrive. Whoa, we're doing it again! It's Chris Hemsworth, the dancing himbo. Yeah.
This cannot be undone!
Chris Hemsworth
is here to stay!
Apple-bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
Okay, again, I am cheating because I want a Disney Plus series about the Madrigals called, well, the Madrigal family. There will be some songs, maybe you get Lin-Manuel for a few of them, but ultimately, each episode will have their focus on a member of the Madrigals and how they're trying to break the cycle of intergenerational trauma, continuing the arc that was established at the end of Encanto. Also, come on Disney, everyone loves this movie. Maybe a bit too much, if I'm being honest.
All right.
The Spectacular SpiderMan is the first of the new Spider-Man trilogy, where Peter Parker will continue operating his solo superhero lifestyle. So far, he's held up his reputation as being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but that is all gonna change when he goes up against the Scorpion. Let's just deliver on the promise. Come on, it's been 5 years? Oh, and also, Michael Keaton will be back as Adrian Toomes. Maybe, I don't know. He'll still be in prison, but to be honest, I don't know if Keaton wants to do any more superhero stuff, because, well, he's gonna be Batman again, and it just seems like too much to have both roles, and we should just let him make another McDonald's movie. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, this movie will also explore the consequences of Peter's actions, and also answer some questions. Did the spell destroy news articles, videos, internet stuff? If it's everyone in the world who forgets who Peter is, does Thor still know? Do the Guardians remember him? There's just too many conditions, this universe. It's too expansive, Oh yeah, and why don't we introduce Amadeus Cho? He becomes the Iron Spider in this movie, and then later down the line, he'll become the Hulk. But why Amadeus Cho? Because I've been waiting for him since Age of Ultron. It's been 7 years!
Drink the water, Neo.
Why is it so big? It's like a pill for a horse.
First off, I am aware that The Matrix Resurrections is quite personal to Lana Wachowski, and I don't want to step on that sentiment of hers by jokingly pitching a sequel. That being said, it was revealed that Warner Brothers actually would have gone forward with a Matrix reboot, with or without the Wachowskis, and honestly, it feels like they could, in the near future, make a fifth Matrix without them. So here it is, The Matrix Reinvented, directed by, Matthew Vaughn. What could go wrong? Answer, everything. After the events of Resurrections, Neo and Trinity are now just existing in the Matrix, trying to bring the world of humanity and machines together. However, they are still pursued by the old Matrix rejects, such as the Merovingian, and maybe Monica Bellucci is also there. Why not? Also, just like its predecessor, Matrix Reinvented will be extremely meta. It will involve the characters playing a video game of the first 3 Matrix movies, and also a video game of Matrix 4 where the Matrix movies are a video game, which means that they're in a game playing a game of 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 a game of.
Everyone's a little bit racist sometimes.
Finally, the last entry in these fake movie sequels. 2 Licorice, 2 Pizza. The Licorice Pizza sequel will be the most amazing movie known to mankind. Firstly, we're getting rid of the racism. Yay! And secondly, this movie will take place in 1975, 2 years after the first Licorice Pizza. And no, it will not address the 10-year age gap between the main characters. It's still not important to the movie. Gary Valentine and Alana Kane will this time be running around Los Angeles and talking with random celebrity cameos, blah blah blah, it's just a repeat of the first movie. But wait, what's this? Cliff Booth? Rick Dalton? That's right, Two Licorice, Two Pizza is actually a secret sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth are like 6 years older, and they buy some weed from the kids. The kids are selling weed in this movie. It's the 70s. Who cares? Yeah, I'm out of ideas. But yeah, Two Licorice, Two Pizza. Or if you don't like that name, let's rename it, Licorice Lasagna. Licorice Lasagna. That's gross. So yeah, thank you for watching. Feel free to share these terrible, terrible sequel ideas with the rest of the world. More fun videos are along the way, whenever I want to make them. Yeah, that's it. Bye!